Welcome to Subramani. I've always been a proponent that people should move to a senior citizen home because that's a very good place to live, and if you move there voluntarily, life is really very good. A couple of my cousins have moved in. My mother bought a senior citizen place for herself when she was 63, right? This is about 20 years ago. She's happily living there. We meet regularly. Thanks to COVID, we didn't meet for some time, but we'd meet, we talk. My sister stays in Pune, so that's how she keeps in touch. So when I say this, many people think that they have to go and buy a place immediately, maybe in their 50s or sometimes even maybe in their 40s, I do not know. That's not true. You need to move in only by the time you're 71, 72, and what you should do is right from the age of 60 or maybe 55, start shopping, but don't buy. Don't be in a hurry to buy, because by the time you're 71, 72, you might get much better deals. Real estate is not running away anywhere, right? So you may want to live in Jaipur, you may want to live in Coimbatore, you may want to live in Pune. Lot of options are available in a lot of places, right? So go do shopping, but don't buy, because if you buy, it is like buying a timeshare in Mahindra Holiday Resorts. You really don't get the best choices. Don't be in a hurry to buy. Shop around, and once you decide that you want to live in Coimbatore or in Pune, on whichever property you want to live in, then you go and stay on rent. Absolutely no hurry to buy. Stay on rent, see how you like it, spend 2-3 months. It will cost you 15,000-20,000 rupees a month to live there. See whether you like it, because when you are on rent, you have not yet made up your mind. And you have a choice. You will hear the good news and the bad news. But if you buy a place, after that the process of selling it and all is a hassle. So you may just rationalize and say it's okay, every place will be like that. So what if the food is not good? So what if the people who are working here are rude? You will accept everything because you are too lazy to sell, right? Don't do that. And so my advice is, yes, do shopping, check out with your spouse, with your siblings, with your elder cousins, whoever has already shifted or who is planning to shift. Check out with them, and then you take a decision. There is absolutely no hurry to take a decision. Now let me read out a letter by Mr. Sambamurthy Jayaraman Iyer. He says that he's written this in my blog, and he says many old age people go to retirement homes due to various personal reasons. Of course, personal reasons I would think instead of living with your children, you might as well live there at least till you're 85. And then if you think you need help, you go and live near your children, or go to a geriatric care center where they will take care of you. This is exactly what somebody would do if they don't have children, right? This is what somebody would do if their children are settled in New Zealand or Canada or some parts of America which is so cold that you don't feel like going in your old age. You may not be able to go also. So check out on all those options, yes, but don't buy. And he says, but there's a lot of heartburn if one buys a flat or villa which they are not aware of while buying the flat in a reasonably good retirement home. As myself and lived for 1 year at Coimbatore in a reputed retirement home, I observed the following disadvantages of one's desire to purchase a flat in any good retirement home. 1. In general, the cost of a new flat is about 60 lakhs for 1000 square foot area, which includes registration if you are a first time buyer. Later on, due to unforeseen circumstances, one desires to sell it off. Some reputed retirement home promoters demand 2% of cost from both seller and buyer, which is totaling to 4%. As their commission, even if you have identified the buyer yourself. Please remember, these are gated communities. These are not cooperative societies. They are not subject to any act, right? So they might have formed it as a private limited company, given you a membership, and so that membership can't be transferred. It is not going to be very easy getting rid of these properties. Once you put your money there, treat it as a sunk investment. Don't look for appreciation, right? Apart from this, the new buyer has to bear approximately, hold your breath, 11% of the cost as registration fees. Hence, it is very difficult to find a buyer definitely at the price you want to sell. Now, this is another funny thing. Most of us think that I cannot sell at a price at least equal to my cost. I don't know from where we get this. We buy a car, we are happy to sell at a discount, right? You buy a car, use it for 5 years, then you get a dramatic discount. Maybe 70% of what you paid for is already gone. You get only 30% of the original price that you paid. When you can accept it in a car, why can't you accept it in a house? Another point to be noted, if you have availed of bank loan to buy a flat, now this is very funny. If you have availed of a bank loan to buy a flat while selling it, when this bank interest is added to your selling price, it is much more difficult to find a new buyer at your price. This is absolute nonsense. Now suppose you have a house which you bought say in 1970. Will you sell at a price which is the price that you paid plus the interest that you paid for the period? So let's say you bought a house in 1970 for 2 lakhs and the interest that you paid added up to another 50,000 rupees, so 2.5 lakhs. Will you sell it for 2.5 lakhs? No, that time you want the market price, which is say 2.5 crores or whatever it is. So when you have a funny way of pricing, I will sell at cost plus interest, which what I think is my total cost, or market price, whichever is higher. This doesn't happen. This is absolutely stupid and stubborn. This has got nothing to do with old age home. Any property that you buy at the market price. When you sell at market price. Don't keep calculating your cost and interest paid and brokerage paid. I spend so much on interiors. You don't get compensated for all that. If you want it compensated, it will always be compensated only for that. Remember, you buy at market price, you sell at market price. The difference is either a profit or a loss. Don't add these stupid interest costs and all and say your cost is high. That's your problem, right? Another point to be noted, burdened with that property if you desire to let it out for rent. For some reason because you're unable to stay there, you will hardly get a rent of rupees 10,000 per month. That's a fact of life. In India, rental yields are low, whether you buy it in Chennai, Coimbatore, Pune, Mumbai, Delhi, or in a senior citizen home. That doesn't change at all. The reason why we get such a low rent is the management charges approximately 7 rupees per square foot for looking after as maintenance charges. So for the 1,000 square foot flat, maintenance charges will be rupees 7,000 per month. Another point to be noted is some of the reputed retirement homes charge this monthly maintenance even if it is not occupied for long periods. Boss, it will be charged. You have no choice. In the society in which we live, we charge an extra allowance if the person keeps it vacant, right? If the flat owner has purchased in a reputed retirement home, in my opinion, it is very difficult to sell if circumstances warrant it at a price you want to sell. And if you look for rent, it will yield very less rent. And if you keep it locked, then apart from paying EMI to bank, you have to pay monthly maintenance of 7,000. And the next point, what is the food cost? Some of the reputed retirement homes charge between 230 to 250 per day per person. 250 per day per person is not really too much, so I will not argue much about that. Hence, for 2 people, husband and wife, the monthly food bill will be 15,000. It does not cost just 15,000 to eat at home. This is absolute nonsense. You don't attribute the cost of going to the market, going and coming from the market, picking up the vegetables, buying it, cook cost. Nothing you attribute. You just attribute vegetable cost to cooking at home, and you expect somebody to give you that service at that price. That's ridiculous. It's not going to happen. 250 per day per person is not very high. Hence, therefore, before buying in a villa, in a retirement home, think twice. or you will have to regret later. I completely agree. Think about all this, but don't look at compensation like, of course, food costs in a hotel will be different from the food costs at home. At home, you're not considering electricity, the cost of all the masalas, nothing you consider. You just consider vegetable costs and say, I don't spend so much. That is nonsense, right? So, anyway, this is it. So, don't buy in a retirement home. Bye.